Welcome to week 8. You made it. You could have been anywhere in the world, and you're here with us. We appreciate that. You literally could have been anywhere on this planet. And these days, you might have been outside of the planet or stuck off the planet in the ISS because it's too old. Anywho, this class is about open awareness of perceptions. And we're specifically looking at sight. So if you look at ancient meditators, these statues of meditators, most of them are meditating with their eyes open, not closed. And when you start to learn how to practice meditation with your eyes open, you can take awareness with you wherever you go. You can meditate all through your life. So meditation is not this binary thing where we're sitting there and we're gonna meditate, I'm gonna liberate myself, I'm gonna get it. No, it's a wrong view, not necessary. We sit, we allow the mind to settle, and it's almost like starting a fire. You're starting this warm, beautiful, loving fire inside of yourself. And then when the meditation's over, you don't want to just leave the fire there. You want to take the fire with you throughout your life. You kind of work for it there. So when you learn to practice meditation with the eyes open, it's less binary, meaning you're sitting here, we're meditating, okay, bell goes off, eyes open, meditation's over. But if you're sitting there for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 45 minutes, and you're there with the eyes open, and boom, the bell's ringing, and then you get up, continue your day. So our perceptions, we take the most information in with our eyes. And eyesight can be very distracting. However, there's a lot of what's happening in eyesight that formulates to consciousness. I'll give you a couple of examples. So if you look at this mat, which is called the color blue. It's a blue mat on the ground here. And we were discussing earlier that our minds create color. And if you look at this blue mat, notice yourself looking at the mat right in front of you, and notice the mat itself. And then notice the color of the mat. And then notice where you're looking from. So just becoming aware of your eyes, looking at the mat. And then notice any kind of conceptualization that might be coming up that you're looking at a mat. So you can kind of break it down. You have a couple of things happening here, is that you're looking at something and you're perhaps conceptualizing on what you're looking at. And there's light hitting that object, and the only way you can see this mat is that there's emptiness here. There's a space between you and the mat. If there wasn't a space, you'd just be in a big block and you probably wouldn't be sentient. But apparently there's something called microtubules, and even the microtubules are conscious. I'll send you a link. It's in the community. But the very fabric of matter happens to have, scientists are finding, a consciousness to it. But by and large, to be aware of the space and sight can allow you to shift from judging to non-judging. I'll say that again. The awareness of the sight and your eyes and the space can allow you to shift from judging to non-judging. I'll give you an example that we used last month on sound. If you hear a sound, it might be a good sound or a bad sound. So if it's a bad sound, there might be reactivity. If there's reactivity, one of the ways to mitigate the reactivity is to notice that the sound is fluctuating. The only way you can hear what I'm saying is the space in between my words that allow them to exist. So if you notice the space in between my words that allow them to exist, there might be a little bit more spaciousness on sound or the cars coming out. It's like the waves. Here it is, there it goes. Same thing with sight. You're noticing the color, you're noticing the actual raw sense perception of sight, the space, color, the space, what's perceiving the sight. There's a little bit less judgment, a little bit less reactivity. So when we're sitting in beginner's meditation or even intermediate or advanced meditation, we're sitting with our awareness on the body or the breath, and we're sitting with our chin slightly tucked and our eyes half open, resting at a point. As they're resting at a point, you might find your eyes do this. So that's a distraction on perceptions. You have a perceptual distraction. And that's okay, because you notice your eyes, you have a googly eye, you're eyeing. And then as you notice your eye is googling, then you can say, Google eyes. My eyes are distracted. And you bring it back to the point. And then you're looking at the mat and you're watching the breath, and you notice, oh, there's a little spot on that mat. There's some dirt there. I wonder where that dirt came from. And then I wonder who put that dirt here. Oh, that person's probably a bad person. And you realize, perceptual reactivity on the spot on the mat. Go back to the breath, back to the breath. So you start really training your eyesight and your awareness. And one of the coolest things, in my opinion, on open awareness of perceptions, and we'll talk about this next month in great detail, is that there's so much space. There's just so much space, and you can so see it. That is what allows this room to be useful, is the space within it. What allows a door to be useful is the space within the door. If there were no door, there would be no space. So we need both. I'm pulling from the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu. So that's a very, very gentle overview of open awareness of sight. And then next month, we'll go into open awareness of form and formlessness. I'll leave you with this. It just really helped me understand this idea of emptiness. All of this is insubstantial. If you look at it on a close enough level, it's vastly, vastly open and spacious. And I was listening to a lecture, and I shared it with you. And the lecture started with the earth is not solid. Like, of course, we know this. It's not solid at all, right? It's not solid. It's got dirt, it's got water, it's got oil, it's got fire. You go outside and you just grab it, like you grab it. All of this you see around you is earth. And it's earthing, it's creating things, and it's all not solid. So if you find yourself thinking a thought or feeling an emotion that might be poisonous or there might be reactivity, just know that that thought is not solid. That emotion is not solid. It's actually insubstantial, of no substance. I can't find it, I can't grab it, and it starts to lose its grab over you. So Sight can be a wonderful tool to meditate in situations where meditation is the last thing you'd ever think of. And it can also be a wonderful tool to cultivate compassion for other people. And we'll get into that later. Comments, questions? I'd love to hear from you. And then we'll get into a meditation. Thank you for listening with your eyes. Thank you for hearing with your eyes and your ears. Perceptions is a kind of a strange one. Optical perceptions, open awareness of sight. It's a little strange one. Sound is much easier. We're incrementally going a little bit more advanced. Formlessness is a really hard one to get your head around. Any questions?
When you say the earth is insubstantial, are you saying that you actually can't find the earth? There are all kinds of things you can find, like dirt and oil, but you will never actually find something called earth.
I am saying that the earth is not solid. It's wiggly.
Wiggly.
It's wiggly. It's groovy. It's wiggly. Paraphrasing from Alan Watts, it's not solid. It's not of substance. But sure, you could take it up to that level and say you can't find the earth. Yeah, absolutely. But I wasn't saying that because some people might not understand that.
I guess I get confused in hearing the way you were describing how it's insubstantial. It didn't seem to be describing how it's insubstantial, more how it wasn't findable.
It's just malleable. It's not solid. It's not like a concrete. What I was saying is, Earth is not like a concrete block.
Totes.
Yeah, it's not a solid thing. Where like this is not a concrete block. It's not a solid thing. This will look extraordinarily different in 5 years, which is nothing. 5 years is like bloop, bloop. So it's kind of like that. That's what I was kind of pointing to a little bit. Is that helpful?
A little.
Okay, good.
How does open awareness kind of relate to manifestation?
Great question. A lot of people have been asking me about the M word, and I try not to go into it a lot because it goes into stories and then seeking and grasping. So I'll try to touch on this very lightly, and then we can talk one-on-one about it if you want. But let me just get a clarification. When you say manifestation, what do you mean?
Visualizing things that as you wish them to be, or finding a way to achieve things, or pass love and compassion to others, things like that.
So I'll give you an analogy. Thoughts don't occur in the brain. They don't occur in the mind. So let's test it. We are in a car. We're all in a van. We're stuck in a van together. I don't know why we're in this van, but we're in this van. It's gonna be all right. And hello. Could you handle that? So we're in this van, and so we're like in a van, and the radio comes on. And when the radio comes on, you're like, no, I don't really like this song. I'm not a big fan of this song. So I'm gonna turn the radio off. And then all of a sudden, the song keeps playing in your head, and now you know we've got an issue. Has that ever happened to you? So where did the thought come from? Did the thought come from the radio? Did it come from the sound? Where did it occur? And to just know that this idea, something seemingly outside of you, can impact you is very, very large. It's no casual affair. To know that the people that are in your environment, the sounds in your environment, like open awareness. My awareness was open to 2 people who just walked into our classroom. And I thought about them, I reacted to them, and then I asked Dennis to go talk to them. So a person in your awareness, a sound in your awareness, a perception in your awareness, all impacts your thoughts. It all impacts your emotions. So if we're wanting to quote unquote manifest something, wanting to bring something to us, we need to be very careful as to what we let into our minds, the kind of stories we let into our minds, the kind of people we let into our minds, the kind of songs we let into our minds. And what you'll find is if you can really train your mind, really calm the mind and adjust the frequency that your mind is on, you'll notice little baby synchronicities in your life. And every single person here has seen them. And it's like these little nudges to, hey, look at this. Hey, look at that. Little synchronicities. So that's one of the reasons how open awareness would relate to it. But a more a different view would be that you have manifested yourself today as Dennis. And there are all of these things that are around you that can impact you. I'll leave you with this, because this is something that was very important for me to learn. Thoughts have intentionality. Thoughts have intentionality. So if you think of a thought, it's almost like they're little messengers, and they go out into the field and they adjust, they change reality. So try it, see for yourself. Don't believe anything I say. Trust your direct experience only. Don't believe in the bald guy wearing the black suit. Only trust yourself. And only you can prevent forest fires.